So, dear students, I am taking a class on chapter 1, you know all. So, this is the last class on this chapter, and you know all, the name of the chapter is the political movement in East Bengal and the rise of nationalism. Okay. So, before the start of my class, I would like to show our today's learning outcome. So, after the class, you will be able to describe the Agartala conspiracy case. Then you will be able to describe the mass upsurge of 1969. Then you will be able to describe about the election of 1970. So dear students, let's get started of our today's class. So first of all, I am going to discuss about the historic Agartala case or Agartala conspiracy case. Okay, and here now I am going to show a picture, and this is the picture of the trial room of the historic Agartala case, and it is located in Dhaka cantonment. Okay. Okay. So what was the historic Agartala case? Our great leader Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman believed that without the armed struggle, it will not be possible to get the independence of Bangladesh. Okay. So here I am going to inform one thing with you. There was a revolutionary wing of the East Pakistan Awami League. So with the consent of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, that time Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was the president of East Pakistan Awami League. So with the permission of the East Pakistan, permission of the head of the East Pakistan Awami League, some of the members of the revolutionary wing of the East Pakistan Awami League, planned to separate East Pakistan from the West Pakistan with the representatives of the Indian government at Agartala, the capital city of the state of Tripura of India. Okay. And this planning to separate East Pakistan from the West Pakistan is called the Agartala planning. Okay, so the government of the West Pakistan filed a case who are related to the planning of the Agartala. So this case is called the historic Agartala case. Now I am going to show you some of the lines about the historic Agartala case. Okay, so the ultimate goal of the politics of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the nation, was to achieve independence of Bangladesh, and he believed that the freedom would not be achieved without armed struggle. He gave consent to the revolutionary wing formed strictly to achieve independence of Bangladesh to go for armed struggle as per the plan. The revolutionary wing planned to attack all the cantonments at a time in the commando style to staunch arms and ammunition from Pakistani forces and hold them captive. Later, they would declare the independence under the leadership of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. As the plan was disclosed before being materialized, the historic Agartala case was filed. Okay. So these are the lines. About the historic Agartala case. Now I am going to discuss in detail about the historic Agartala case. So in your examinations, you should follow these lines, and if you write down this information in your answer script, when you write down about the answer of the questions regarding the historic Agartala case, you will get good marks in your examinations. So first of all, you have to give the definitions of what is called the Agartala conspiracy case. Okay, so the definition will be a case filed by the Pakistani government, filed by the government of Pakistan against 35%, including political leaders, civil servants in service and retired army officers who planned to separate East Pakistan from the West Pakistan by armed struggle with the representatives of the Indian government at Agartala, the capital capital of Tripura state of India is called the Agartala conspiracy case. Okay, so basically Agartala conspiracy case is a case by the West Pakistani rulers to some of the politicians or some of the civil servants, some of the in-service and retired army officers, and who were related to Agartala planning to separate East Pakistan from the West Pakistan, so with the representatives of Indian government. Okay, so these are the basic thing about the historic Agartala case. So what was the formal name of this case? This is another important information regarding these questions. The name of the case was the state versus Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and others. Okay, so this information is very important. The formal name of the case was the state versus Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and others. Okay. Next point is that accusations. So now I'm going to read out the accusations. Okay, they were accused under the sections of 120 on subsection A and 130 on of the Pakistan Penal Code for comprising to make East Pakistan a sovereign and independent state through. Okay, these 35 persons, including political leaders, civil servants, in-service and retired army officers, and they were accused under the sections of 121 subsection A and 130 on 30 ons of the Pakistan Penal Code and Penal Code. Okay, so this information is very important. You must write down these informations when you write the answer of the questions regarding the historic Agartala case. Next point, hearing of the case. Okay, so the hearing of the case started on 19 June 1968 in a special tribunal at the Dhaka cantonment. So this is another important line. Okay, so the hearing of this case was started on 19 June 1968. So the place was Dhaka cantonment. So this is vital line regarding Agartala conspiracy case. Next, the result of the case. So what was the result of the case? Number one, a fierce movement launched by the people to withdraw the case. Okay, a very fierce, a severe type of movement was launched by the people of the East Pakistan to withdraw the case unconditionally. And number two, the political movement on the basis on the 6 and the 11-point demands encouraged the people to move for the independence. Here I want to say something about the 6-point and the 11 points. 6-point demands was a political movement of East Pakistan Awami League, and 11-point movement was a movement from the student sides. Okay, and these two movements helped the people to move for the independence. So that were the results of the historic Agartala case. Okay, then I'm going to talk about the mass upsurge. This is another important topic for your examinations. So at first you have to know what is called the mass upsurge. Okay, basically mass upsurge is a movement where all walks of the peoples of a country participate but change the running rulers from the government system. So let's look on the screen about the definitions of mass upsurge. Okay, so mass upsurge is such a political movement when all walks of the people of a country participate to change the running rulers from the government system. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the mass upsurge of 1969. 1969. So, see, all out movement was happened in 1969 against the long-term autocratic ruler of Pakistan, that means Ayub Khan, and this movement was called the mass upsurge of 1969. Okay. A all-out political movement was happened in 1969 against the autocratic President Ayub Khan. This political movement is called the mass upsurge of 1969. Okay. Then killing, basically three killings influenced the movement in in highway. Okay, so first of all, Asaduzzaman Asad. Okay, and he was killed on 10th January 1969. Then Sergeant Johurul Haq, and he was killed on 15 February 1969. And number 3, Dr. Samsul Johar, and he was a professor of Rajshahi University, and he was killed on 18 February 1969. Then Sheikh Mujib released from jail, and this is another information regarding mass upsurge of 1969. The answer will be on 22 February 1969. The Pakistani rulers was forced to release Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman unconditionally. Then the title of Bangabandhu. After the release of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman on 22 February 1969, mass reception was given to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and in this mass receptions, Tofail Ahmed, that time he was the VP of Dakshu, given the title Bangabandhu to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The Chhatra Sangram Parishad gave a warm reception to Sheikh Mujib at the race course, now Sohrawardi Udyan, on 23rd February, and he was awarded the title Bangabandhu in the reception meeting. Okay, so that's all about the mass upsurge of 1969. When you write down about the mass upsurge, you must write down these lines in your answer script. Then you will get very good mark. Now I am going to discuss about the importance of the historical influence of mass uprising. First of all, President Ayub Khan had to resign from his power, and this was the most important result of the mass upsurge of 1969. Then General Yahya Khan took over the church to rule Pakistan. Then the dates of general elections and the provincial elections were announced by the Yahya government on basis of one person on vote. Okay. After taking the power of the president, General Yahya Khan announced the date of the general and the provincial elections for the first time in the history of Pakistan. Okay, on the basis of one person on board. That means all the adult citizens of the Pakistan will be able to cast their votes in Central Assembly, at the same time in Provincial Assembly. Then after the release from the jail on 23rd February 1969, the title Bangabandhu was given by Dakshu VP Tofail Ahmed, and I have discussed about these informations. Okay, and here you have to remember this date, that means the 23rd February, and the title Bangabandhu was given by the VP at that time. Okay. In the general and provincial elections, the Awami League got the landslide victory. Okay, and in the elections, Awami League got the landslide victory. Later in my class, in my next slides, I will the election of 1970, and then I will discuss. Okay. So boys, now is the time I am going to discuss about the election of 1970. At first, you have to understand what is called the election of 1970. An election was held. Basically, a general election was held in Pakistan for the first time in the history of Pakistan in 1970, and this election is called the election of 1970. Okay, and in this election, the East Pakistan Awami League got landslide victory both the Central Assembly and the Provincial Assembly. Okay, so first thing is that, okay, Ayub Khan resigned after the resign of Ayub Khan. Okay, and basically here on 25 March 1969, Ayub Khan resigned from the power on 25 March 1969, and Yahya Khan succeed him as the next dictator. Okay. On 28 March 1970, he promised to hold a general elections. That means after taking the power of the Pakistan's general, Yahya Khan declared that he will arrange a general elections and the provincial election of Pakistan. Okay. Then on 7 December 1970, the general election of Pakistan. Okay, and on 17 December 1970, the provincial election held on the basis of on person on vote. So according to the declarations of the President Yahya Khan, the elections of the Central Assembly was held on 7 December in 1970, and the provincial election of the Pakistan was held on 17 December in 1970. Okay. In these elections, some of the political parties that means the maximum political parties of Pakistan's participated, and now I am going to the names of the political parties: the Awami League, the NAF Wali, the Muslim League Qayyum, the Muslim League Convention. Okay, then the Pakistan People's Party, the Democratic Party, the Jamaat-e-Islami, and some other political parties took part in election. Pakistan People's Party. This party is important important for you all. Okay, so in short form, the Pakistan People's Party means PPP. Okay, and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was the leaders of Pakistan People's Party that time. Then the Awami League bagged 167 out of 169 seats reserved for East Pakistan in the Central Assembly, and they got 288 out of 300 seats in the East Pakistan Provincial Assembly. So I have already told you about the result of the election of 1970. In this election, Awami League got the landslide victory. That means in total of 13 seats, Awami League got 167 seats out of 169 seats. Here I am going to share all information to you. Among the 313 seats, 169 seats were reserved for the East Pakistan, and 144 seats were reserved for the West Pakistan. Okay, and in provincial elections, the East Pakistan Awami League got 288 seats out of 300 seats. So this result is called the landslide victory. So now I am going to discuss about the importance of the 1970s election. First of all, the Awami League achieved the landslide victory in the National and Provincial Assembly. Next, the Bengali nationalism got its political aspects, and I think you have all know about the Bengali nationalism. In my first class, I have discussed about the Bengali nationalism. The Bengali nationalism was emerged between 1948 to 1952 from the language movement. Okay, so by the by the win of the 1917 elections, the Bengali nationalism got its political aspect. Next, it also played a vital role to transform the spirit of nationalism to the spirit of freedom. So, after the win of these elections, the people of East Pakistan wanted to get freedom from the Pakistans because the rulers of the West Pakistan were autocratic minded. Okay. Number four, it was great loss for the Pakistani rulers. So they started searching new plot against Bengalis not to hand over the power to elected body. Okay. Next, people of East Pakistan stood firmly against the dictatorships of West Pakistan. They wanted to see democratic rules in East Pakistan. Okay, so after the election, the people of East Pakistan didn't want to see the West Pakistani rulers as the rulers of East Pakistan. And number six and last point is that as a result, a new country named Bangladesh emerged and secured her place in the world map. And after the 1917 elections, the liberation war of Bangladesh was started. And after 9 month bloody war, we got the independence from the oppressive Pakistani rulers. Okay, so the election of 1970 was the last step to get the independence from the Pakistan. So that's all about the importance of 1970s elections. So the importance of 1970 elections is important, very important for your creative questions. So you have to give much attention on this topic. So, dear students, now I am go the next part of my class. That means the evaluation part. And here now I am going to ask some of questions to you. Why did the hearing of the Agartala case happen? The answer will be the hearing of the Agartala case happened at Dhaka cantonment. Number two, when Bangabandhu got released from the Agartala conspiracy case? The answer will be Bangabandhu got released from the Agartala conspiracy case on 22nd February 1969. Number three, how many seats did the Awami League get in the Central Assembly? In Central Assembly, Awami League got 167 seats out of 169 seats, and basically there were 313 seats in the Central Assembly, and 169 seats were reserved for the East Pakistan, and remain 144 seats were reserved for the West Pakistan. And number four, who gave the title Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman? Tofail Ahmed. That time he was the VP of Dakshu, gave the title Bangabandhu to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman on 23rd February 1969 in a public reception. And number five, when did the general election of Pakistan hold for the first time? The general election of Pakistan was held for the first time in 7 December in 1970. Okay, so dear student, that's all about our today's class. Basically today I have discussed about the historic Agartala case, then I have discussed about the Masab search, then I have discussed about the election of 1970. Dear students, all these three topics are highly related to each other. Okay, so when you write down on 1917 elections, you can hire some informations from Agartala conspiracy case, or you can hire some information from mass officers of 1969. Okay, so now if you take preparation on these three topics at a time, definitely you will be able to answer any questions from these three topics. So, dear students, thank you very much for your kind attentions, for your participations in my class. If you face any problem to understand any lines or any terms regarding our today's class, you can ask your questions. You can put your questions in comment box, and I will give you your answer. Okay. So, dear students, thank you very much for hearing me. Next time, see you again. Till then, Allah Hafiz.